Is it just me here today?
I think so. If that's the case, we'll probably just have a shorter class.
I think it's because it's a long weekend, you know?
Yeah, perhaps.
Is it regular masjid, the Fullerton masjid, or it's just IOK these days now?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين اللهم اجعلنا منهم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا متقبلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Allah accept these good deeds of ours as a means to accept our dua of our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Allah give them their help, aid, and victory and deal with their oppressors. Ameen. All right. Someone want to just read for us?
Okay, where you want to start from? Chapter 54?
Yep.
Okay, so, right, so recall that there's two types of plurals. There's Jama' salim, the sound plurals, and Jama' taksir. Recall that a plural is considered a sound when the original form of the word is maintained and an ending combination is used. A plural is considered broken when additional letters interrupt the original form of the word. So many words have both a sound version and one or more broken versions, which gives rise to questions that are essential in the study of plurals. Number one, when is the sound plural used and when is the broken plural used? Number two, why are there different broken plural patterns and how they differ in usage and meaning? Let us find the answer to each of two of these questions. 54.1 Sound versus broken. Know that the question of sound versus broken is only relevant when there is an option to use either version. As a general principle, in balagha, if there are no alternate ways of saying something, there is no sense in asking why it was said that way and how it may differ from an alternative. The plural patterns that fall the plural patterns that fall into the category of no alternative are the Dharf pattern and the Masajid and the Ala pattern and Masabih. Our study will primarily involve the plural patterns for the other Sigha in Sarf, like the Ism Fa'il and the Ism Sifa, to name a few. When it comes to sound versus broken, they are generally two considerations as to which is used. They are Aqilna wal Kathra. This refers to the range of numbers that the plural falls in. And Qalla can be anywhere from 3 to 10, and Kathra is more than 10. Uh, okay, and this is and number two, إرادة الحدث إرادة الحذف وإرادة الاسمية. Iratul had is when the ism carries a strong element of action and is behaving similarly to fi'l. And irad al-ismiya is when the ism is used as a noun. So let us learn each of these two considerations in more detail. And qalla wal kathra, when it comes to inanimate objects, sound plurals are used for qalla. The 10 broken plurals used for
إلا إلا
sorry,
إلا
qilla, sorry. Qilla, yeah, qilla wal kathra. And then qilla is 3 to 10, and kathra is 11 plus. Take a look at the following case study. وما أموالكم ولا أولادكم بالتي تقربكم عندنا زلفى إلا من آمن وعمل صالحا فأولئك لهم جزاء الضعف بما عملوا وهم في الغرفات آمنون. Or you can also say فأولئك لهم جزاء عن الضعف بما عملوا وهم في الغرفة آمنون. Your money and children are not what all bring you closer to us except for the one who believes and does good deeds. And those people will have double their reward because of what they did, and they will be safe in rooms. And this one's from Surah Al-Ankabut. والذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات لنبوئنهم من الجنة غرفا تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها نعم أجر العاملين. Those who believe and do good, we will settle them in rooms in paradise under which rivers flow, remaining in it forever. And how amazing is the reward of those who work. نعم أجر العاملين. Okay. So عاملين is somebody who it's someone who works. Yeah. الزمر. So لكن الذين اتقوا ربهم غرف من فوقها غرف مبنية تجري من تحتها. Rather than those who are conscious of their master, they will have rooms on top of which they are built in rooms and under which rivers flow. Notice that all three of these ayat include a plural of the word غرفة. The ayah in Surah Saba uses the sound plural غرفات, and the Jam'a qilla. Then the ayah and Surah uses the broken plural غرفة, and the Jam'a kathra use as does the ayah uses the Zumar. A look at the context gives us a clue as to why this may be the case. The ayah in Surah Saba explains of those who believe. Sorry about that extra step. Yeah. So Ankabut غرفة. This answer speaks to those who believe and do good deeds. من آمن وعمل صالحا. The answer to Ankabut the Zumar both speak of those who migrate for the sake of Allah.
And so here, basically, the difference here is the ayah of Surah Saba is really just saying the standard level of believers.
Right. Yes.
Ankabut and Zumar are talking about those people that not just are they believers, not just they do good, but these are from As-Sabiqun al-Awwalun al-Muhajirun. These are from those people that did hijrah for the sake of Allah and His Messenger. Continue.
Take a look at the ayah in Surah Al-Ankabut. This is the Zumar of the speed of migration. يا عبادي الذين آمنوا إن أرضي واسعة فإياي فاعبدون كل نفس ذائقة الموت ثم إلينا ترجعون. And my servants who have believed, indeed my earth is spacious, so worship only me. Every soul will taste death. Then to us you will be returned. And قل يا عباد الذين آمنوا اتقوا ربكم للذين أحسنوا في هذه الدنيا حسنة وأرض الله واسعة إنما يوفى الصابرون أجرهم بغير حساب. Say, my servants who have believed, fear your Lord, for those who do good in this world is good, and the earth of Allah is spacious, and He the patient will be given their reward without account. Note when the expansiveness of Allah's punishment, Note when the mass of Allah's earth is mentioned as encouragement to the oppressed believers to migrate. And the Jam'a qilla is used for those who believe and do good, and the Jam'a kathra is used for those who migrate. That is because those who migrate are the muhajirun, are people who endured immense hardship and who sacrificed in order to hold on to their faith. These people, the muhajirun, are higher in status than those who did not have to endure what they endured. For this reason, their reward is greater, and the Jam'a kathra is used for them. And since irad al-hadthi wal irad al-ismiyya, this rule applies specifically to the ism fa'il and its plurals. Recall that we learned that the ism fa'il can sometimes behave and translate like a fi'al al-mudari'. This is known as irad al-hadthi. This term simply means that the intended meaning behind using the ism fa'il was an action or a had. When the ism fa'il is being used and translated as an ism, this is known as an irad al-ismiyya. Sound plurals are used for irad al-had. Irad al-hadhan when an action is intended. Broken plurals are used for irad al-ismiyya when a noun is intended. Take a look at the following case study. وأرسلنا الرياح لواقح فأنزلنا من السماء ماء فأسقيناكموه وما أنتم له بخازنين. And we sent the winds as pollinators, and we sent down water from the sky and gave it to you as rain, and you do not at all store it. The sound of the khazin is used because the focus is the action of storing. Notice that it translates as a mudari'.
Sorry, can you sorry, I'm a bit late. Can you quickly summarize that where we are right now?
Yeah, so we're looking at the use of different kinds of plurals.
Okay.
And what plural gives what intended meaning.
Okay, what is qillatul kathra?
So qilla and kathra Qilla is a plural used for a small group. Kathra is a plural used for a big group.
Okay.
Right? So for one example of qilla is, you have the singular word ghurfa, room.
Mhm.
Jam'u qilla, meaning the plural that gives you the meaning between 3 and 10 is ghurufat.
Mm.
Whereas kathra is ghurafun. And so
Okay.
when he uses the word ghurufat, he uses that for general believers.
Okay. But you have the same thing for the feminine also?
So it's meaning same thing for masculine, yeah, similar things for masculine. Yeah.
Okay.
And so when Allah is just talking about believers in general, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا إِلَّا مَنْ آمَنَ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا, Allah says they will get غُرُفَات. Whereas those people that do hijrah, Allah says لَنُبَوِّئَنَّهُم مِّنَ الْجَنَّةِ غُرَفًا. So if we were to translate particularly,
That's many. Ghurafa means
many.
Mm. Mm.
Another
Okay.
example would be like an'um versus ni'am.
Yes.
Plural of ni'am. An'um is for a small amount of blessings. Ni'am is for big amount of blessings.
Mm. That's why we say Ni'am al-Mawla.
No. Ni'am al-Mawla is the fi'l ta'ajjub, like how great.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm saying the difference between
Shakiran li'an'umi.
yeah, so that's one example.
Mm.
أنعمه. So shakiran li'an'umi.
Mm.
Not even the first one. An'um as the ism, as the plural.
Mm.
As opposed to wasbagha alaykum ni'amahu. As opposed to wasbagha alaykum ni'amahu, all of his blessings.
Okay.
What about نعمة ظاهرة وباطنة?
That's single.
Then that's singular.
Okay, so how Shu'bah and Asim and Ibn Kathir, as of what I know, they say نعمة ظاهرة. So they're referring to when their narrations, they say it's a singular blessing, right?
Yeah. And not idafa. When we say ni'amahu, all the blessings of Allah, say ni'matan zahiratan batina, and it's not idafa.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first category that we're looking at. And the point here is there is a time, a place, a context in which you would use the numerous plural or the innumerous plural.
Mm.
And then the second category we just got into is something we've already talked about before, but you know when we had the discussion about my masdar, ism fa'il or ism maf'ul can convey the meaning of the fi'il, right?
Example?
Um, like وما أنتم بخارجين له.
Mm.
Basically, sorry, this is بخازنين. وما أنتم تخزنون له.
Mm.
Right? And so it can make something mansub after, can make something maf'ul bihi after. Like مرسل الرياح.
Mm.
Right? Because it's ism fa'il, and I can use it as a fi'il basically. And so whenever that case is used, that is always going to be with the broken plural. Broken plural. And there I'm focusing on the action. There my action is my focus. As opposed to when I use the broken plural, then I typically will not, actually, I would typically will not use that, and it will not give the meaning of masdar. Or so it will not give the meaning of the fi'il. So if we look,
So this part I don't get it. So you're talking about this warasalna riyah lawaqi', right?
yeah.
Okay. So where is the plural here?
بخازن.
بخازنين. Okay. So is it إرادة الحديث or إرادة الإسمية?
إرادة الحدث. إرادة
Oh,
الحدث.
إرادة الحدث. Okay.
Because when I use the sound plural, جمع المذكر السالم, then I'm using it for the action.
Mm.
Meaning
Okay.
I'm basically using an ism in the place of in the place of a fi'l.
Ism. I mean, what is the original word to be? If I had to replace it, Uma antum lahu.
Meaning
Now here saying this is the ism fa'il, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Meaning in this case, I can basically I'm using this, but my meaning is the meaning of the fi'l mudari.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Let's see the other side, and then we'll see the difference.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So
Okay, Umar. Go ahead.
وقال الذين في النار لخزنة جهنم ادعوا ربكم يخفف عنا يوما من العذاب. Right, and those people that are in the fire of hell, they will say to the khazanati jahannam, not the khazini jahannam. And so in this case, we're less focusing on
The action
of storing. We're more so referring to them as the people, or I guess in this case the angels, right? So that's one level, and we'll probably see a little bit more. The broken plural khazin is used because the word khazin is referring to a group of people, I mean maybe angels, and so the focus is not that they're doing khazan. In this example, وَمَا أَنْتُمْ لَهُ بِخَازِنِينَ, we're talking about, I don't care if you're 1 person, 10 people, 100 people, you're not storing the water. But here, khazana of Jahannam, I'm focusing on the people. وَقَالَ لَهُمْ خَزَنَتُهَا أَلَمْ يَأْتِكُمْ رُسُلٌ مِّنكُمْ. Right? And their keepers of hell will tell them, didn't messengers come to you? Didn't they recite the ayat to you? Ayat of your Rabb? Didn't they warn you about me coming and meeting this day? And so again, we're not focused on the fact that they're doing the verb khazana. We're focusing on the fact that these are beings that are there. As opposed to now we get to الآمرون بالمعروف والناهون عن المنكر والحافظون لحدود الله وبشر المؤمنين.
Okay, sorry, I got some distraction happened to me. The khazan is the broken plural?
Yes. No, if it's not una, ina, atun, atin, it's a broken plural.
Oh, okay, broken plural. Okay. And here you were saying that it is talking about not the action, but the people, right?
Yeah, who it's referring to.
Okay. And khazan means storing.
Yes.
So how do you define the people here?
Meaning,
Storer?
Meaning here in this case, the guards of Jahannam. In a sense, they're storing the people of Jahannam by keeping them.
Okay.
So you see there how we already moved away from the main meaning already. Right, and we're talking about, this is more a category as opposed to people that do the action of khazan.
Okay.
Right, and now here though, al-amiruna bil ma'ruf wan-nahuna 'anil munkar wal-hafizuna li hududillah. Right, so we already see that this is being used in the way that af'al are used. Why? Because I have bil ma'ruf 'anil munkar li hududillah. So I'm taking my jama' or my ism fa'il or ism maf'ul, but in this case my plural, and in this case I can use it with my maf'ul bihi, or I can use it with my muta'alliq bil fi'l.
Okay.
Right, so but the point here is, here I'm talking about people, but I'm focusing on those people that do this action. Those people that do command to good, do forbid evil, and do guard and maintain the boundaries of Allah.
So this is an action.
Yeah, here we're focusing on the action. Meaning,
So
I can. One sec. I mean, I can very
Yeah.
easily switch this out to الذين يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر ويحفظون حدود الله.
Mm,
I can very easily switch it.
okay.
Yeah, you were saying something?
And so all the sound plural, it is going to mean an action, focus on the action.
Typically, yeah.
Okay, okay.
And so here, so in these examples, we're looking at 3 examples of the plural of حافظ, right? So أرسله معنا غدا يرتع ويلعب وإنا له لحافظون. Basically, the sons of Yaqub are telling Yaqub, send him with us. We'll take care of him. We'll play with him. وإنا له, or basically, وإنا نحافظه or نحافظ له. We are going to take care of him. The focus is less on us, but more so what we're going to do
Collectively.
collectively.
What if I said yarta'i? What's the difference in yarta'i and yarta'i? Yarta'i is in a, it's not majzoom, right?
And then is it also يلعب?
أرسل معنا غدا يرتعي ويلعب وإنا له لحافظون. At least that's what's in the Abu Ja'far and Nafi'.
Yeah, this wouldn't be the حرف العلة came back. Right? Then ويرسل عليكم حفظا حتى إذا جاء أحدكم الموت توفته رسلنا وهم لا يفرطون. And Allah, He sends guardian angels that watch and record people's actions and deeds. And then when death comes to them, the angels of death will take this person's soul. وهم لا يفرطون, and they do not overlook or over exceed, or sorry, underdo their job. So here again, we're less focused on who or what the action is, but we're more so just focused. There is a being, or there are beings there that are guarding.
But hafal, the then, how is that broken plural? Should be hafal then, right? Why then?
This is one of the patterns of a broken plural. So at the end of book 2 or book 3, we have all of these patterns. I think do we have a chart here as well? I should have given the chart again.
Okay, I think as we go,
Here.
then we will learn.
Basically here.
Okay.
فعل. Right, and then حفظ خزن.
Good.
Right, and then this gives us the implied meaning of all of these.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to continue.
Again, broken plurals are used as iradatul ismiya. There are, however, a number of broken plural patterns, each with their unique usages and meanings. Let us learn some of the most commonly used plural patterns and their unique meanings. فعال, this plural.
فعال.
Oh, sorry, فعال. Oh, yeah, I definitely can't see. فعال, this plural pattern denotes the kathra in action. And note that this differs from saying that there is a kathra in the people who do that action. This plural pattern denotes, it is like the difference between saying he reads a lot and a lot of people read. In the first example, the kathra word, a lot, is going back to the action, reading. In the second example, the kathra, the word a lot is going back to the people carrying out that action. Again, the plural pattern, fu'al, indicates a kathra in the action. The word حفاظ, for example, translate as memorizers. In order to capture the kathra, rather than saying a large number of memorizers, we would say memorizers who memorize a lot. Similarly, the word زراع would translate as people who plant / farm a lot, rather than a lot of farmers. Take a look at the following case study. إن الذين كفروا وصدوا عن سبيل الله ثم ماتوا وهم كفار فلن يغفر الله لهم وليست التوبة للذين يعملون السيئات حتى إذا حضر أحدهم الموت قال إني تبت الآن ولا الذين يموتون وهم كفار أولئك أعتدنا لهم عذابا أليما إن الذين كفروا وماتوا وهم كفار فلن يقبل من أحدهم ملء الأرض ذهبا ولو افتدى به أولئك لهم عذاب أليم وما لهم من ناصرين. As seen in the ayat above,
One
the
more.
Prophet
الذين كفروا وماتوا وهم كفار.
أولئك عليهم لعنة الله والملائكة والناس أجمعين. Okay, I thought, did I actually say إن الذين كفروا وماتوا وهم كفار فلن يقبل من أحدهم?
You already read that one.
Okay, إن الذين كفروا وماتوا كفار أولئك عليهم لعنة الله والملائكة
So
والناس.
as seen in the ayat above.
As seen in the ayat above, the plural kuffar is often used in the context of death. Remember, the plural pattern fu'al indicates kathara in action. By the time a person reaches the stage of death, they have engaged in a lot of disbelief. For this reason, the fu'al pattern is used.
Can you do a bit of explanation on this? I'm
Yeah,
still
so-
struggling to understand that, particularly the word huffaz and zura. So it is talking about the group of people doing a lot of action.
Yeah, meaning that group is doing a lot of, they do that action a lot. So if we compare kafirun, right? أنفقوا مما رزقناكم والكافرون هم الظالمون أولئك هم الكافرون حقا. These people that do this evil فأولئك هم الكافرون يبغونها عوجا وهم بالآخرة كافرون, right? إنا بالذي آمنتم به كافرون ولو كره الكافر. So all what he's trying to get at is, when do we use kafirun versus kuffar? When do we use kafirun versus kuffar? He's saying, number one, our difference is not in how many people. That was our first category. Right? How many people? That's not what we're looking at. But he makes a good point. That kuffar is always used in the context of death. Because at that point, they have done kufr their entire life. So now if we look at kuffar, من بعد إيمانكم كفارا, right? وماتوا وهم كفار. كل كفار, that's different. It's كفار. وماتوا وهم كفار. يموتون وهم كفار. That's كفار.
What are you looking? I mean, kuffar.
I'm just trying to see, does this come up with moat, like the author said a lot? Right? أوتوا الكتاب من الذين قبلكم والكفار أولياء. These people who are always on kufr, do not take them as friends. And here kuffar with munafiqin and munafiqat. جاهد الكفار والمنافقين. So we see when kuffar is used, these are usually in the more extreme scenarios, dying on kufr, being associated with the hypocrites. And so meaning that people who do kufr a lot.
People who do kufr a lot, and then so much of people also, correct?
No. This has nothing to do with how many. Nothing to do with how many. Here we're focused on how much is the action done.
I mean, but it's saying that huffaz is translated as memorizers. It is saying that a large number of memorizers is saying memorizers who memorize a lot.
Yes,
right?
The second one. Rather than saying a large, not the first one. This is not what we're trying to say. This is what we're trying to say.
Yeah, so So this is what I'm saying. So this is what you're trying to say. That means you have a group of people doing that particular action in a lot.
Yes, yes,
So if I apply the kuffar, the group, the category of the people who is doing a lot of kufr.
yes, yes.
Okay,
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's correct.
that's what we're looking. Okay.
Yes. Um, uh, as opposed to, so even here, right? Yeah, the word kuffar is often used in ayat that were revealed in Medina because they're engaged in battle and they're typically associated with the munafiqun. يا أيها الناس جاهدوا الكفار والمنافقين فإن علمتموهن مؤمنات فلا ترجعوهن إلى الكفار. At this point, kuffar is those people of Mecca that have been kuffar for almost 20 years now. This is in Mumtahina. This is after Hudaybiyah. So 19 years they've been kuffar. محمد رسول الله والذين آمنوا معه أشداء على الكفار. Those people who are stubbornly always disbelieving. And so in this context, we see that there's a constant use of, there's a difference between using kuffar versus kafirun.
Kuffar means they were persistent in the task, like in kufr, in their life.
Yeah.
A kafirun is someone who's already kafir, but someone who does kuffar regularly, like let's say if they were Muslim beforehand and like they start engaging in bid'ah and shirk practices knowingly, and they do it persistently in their life, would that be an answer? Would that be like an example of kuffar instead of kafirun, which is someone who's kafirun, who's like, let's say, following some sort of like a kafir religion and doesn't even believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is last final messenger? Would that be a notable difference to make?
Now it's kuffar. Now it's kuffar. Doing bid'ah, the deen, though it's wrong, doesn't make someone a kafir.
What about doing sajda on graves?
That's not bid'ah. That is, and then someone also has to consider, what are they doing sajda to Allah around a grave, or are they doing sajda to that person? In which case, that is clear shirk.
Yeah, then that is an act of kufr then.
I wish they gave more examples, but for or like juhal. Like we have the word juhal, the person that is excessive. There are those people that are excessive in their jahala, extremely ignorant. Yeah, you have like jahil and jahilun, those people that are ignorant. But when you say juhal, you have those people who are so ignorant, so ignorant.
What is the difference between fa'al and fa'al?
Fa'al is singular. Fa'alun lima yurid. Jabbar, qahhar, wahab. That is the when that action is very excessive, but singular.
Okay.
Fu'al is the plural when the action is excessive, or when the action is a lot.
I see.
Okay. Now for the fa'al.
So that means fa'al is the ismu fa'il and hyperbolic, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fa'alatun, this plural pattern lacks action or movement. It is used to refer to a specific classification or categorization of people. When this pattern is used, the focus is on the occupation label or classification of that particular group. Take a look at the following examples. كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير. Whenever a crowd is thrown in it, its keepers ask them, did not a warner come to you? Here, the focus of the word is their occupation or label as gatekeepers.
Yeah, as opposed to them doing a lot of khazan.
ويرسل عليكم حفظة, and we sent guardians over you. وألقي السحرة ساجدين, and the magicians were thrown down in bowing and bowing. Bowing. Okay, and that the Naqus version and this plural pattern is فعادة is rumatun and du'atun.
Yeah, right. And so sometimes these two are often contrasted, kuffar and fa'ala. Right, so we have huffaz versus hafaza. Huffaz is, again, great, memorizing a lot. Whereas hafaza is, yeah, I guess that's just your side job. Like you're just doing it, right? Or you have kuttab, those people that write a lot. Kataba, yeah, they write. Juhal, extremely ignorant, right? Or jahala, these are just some ignorant people, right? Usually use the fa'ala when you're not really focusing on that. You're just a group, right? Or tullab, these are tullabul ilm. These are students who are learning and studying a lot. Versus talaba, yeah, these are just some regular students, you know.
But that's in the plural though.
Yeah, plural.
So it is talking about that particular category of the people.
Yeah.
Not necessarily an action focused.
Yeah. And you can say that's because these two are kind of paired together. The fu'al and the fa'ala are kind of paired together.
Okay.
Let's just see if we can. Fu'al.
How is this i'rab? Will that change?
No.
For
No
so
difference.
for the plural, there's no change in the i'rab, correct?
Nope. And because these are all غير منصرف, or sorry, these are all munsarif as well. So no change at all.
So even if it comes after preposition or anything, it is not gonna be majroor or none of those, correct?
No, it will, meaning you just treat it. There's no change in i'rab will be normal.
No, you're confusing me. That means it's not munsarif then.
No, it is munsarif, not غير منصرف. Fully munsarif, fully flexible. It can go through anything. Basically, it can take tanween, it can take kasra, everything.
Okay.
Kuffarun.
So it is not mamnu min as-sarf.
Yes, it's fully munsarif.
Fully munsarif. Okay. So it will change.
Yes.
Okay.
Tanween and kasra, everything.
So instead of fa'alatun, it can be fa'alatin.
Yeah. Okay.
Isn't it we learned that the plural will be mamnu min as-sarf? That is for jama' mudhakkar salim, right?
Jam' mudhakkar salim, it has its own una ina. But this one, like fawa'ilu, right? Fawa'ilu or amaki, that's amakinu, asma'u. So some of the patterns, fu'ala'u, and we'll see. But yeah, but most of these are not. Most of these are still munsarif. Only like fawa'ilu And what was the other one? Yeah, the other one we just saw as well.
Okay, I think let's go through it, then we will know.
Yeah. Okay, continue.
فعال is a plural. This is a
No,
plural.
fu'alun.
Sorry, did I say فعال?
Yes, you should say fu'alun.
فعال, thank you. Yeah, it's hard to sometimes. فعال is the plural pattern is used to talk about individuals carrying out visibility actions that span over a short period of time. Take a look at the following examples. تراهم ركعا سجدا يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانه. You see them bowing with their hands and excuse me, but you see them bowing and with their heads to the ground, seeking favor and pleasure from Allah. Ruku' and sujood are physical action that can be visibly seen. They're also actions that do not span for a long period of time. So this is a visibly apparent action versus fu'al is for long period of action, right? So think of the alif as long, right?
No.
No?
This is like a new category now. The fu'al is the focus is on the action,
Okay.
right? The fu'al, we're looking at individuals doing that action over a short period of time.
Okay, but is fu'al a long period of time or no?
No, time is not a factor there.
Okay.
Time is not a factor there.
Okay. So it's completely different, but just sounds almost identical.
Just the missing alif, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why this is a mansub, is because it is the maf'ulun bihi, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so fawa'il, this plural pattern can only be derived from the ism fa'il. This pattern is used for the inanimate.
The feminine ism fa'il.
Yes. This plural pattern can be only derived from the feminine ism fa'il. This pattern is used for the inanimate. It often implies stillness or lack of movement. Take a look at the following examples. وألقى في الأرض رواسي أن تميد بكم وأنهارا. Sorry, وألقى في الأرض رواسي بكم, and he cast pegs on the earth, let it shake you.
Lest it shake you.
Lest it shake you.
And so we're
So
doing
if it's a ravasi,
Mhm.
so what is the feminine ism fa'il for this?
Rasiyatun.
Rasiyatun. Okay. How do we know?
That's what this pattern comes from, and our book tells us here. So fawa'il, rawasiyu, technically it would be rawasiyu or fawa'ilu, but that's going to be used whenever we have ramiyatun, fa'ilatun, jahidatun, etc.
I see.
Meaning when you see this, you know it's for feminine.
Okay, got it. Oh, so that's how we should imply it. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is this pattern used for?
To imply stillness or lack of movement.
Okay, so it's not a living thing. Basically, it's
a lot.
inanimate.
Yeah, a lot of times for inanimate. Most of the time for inanimate.
Okay.
Let's see. Rawasiyu, awatiku. Yeah, awatik. Right, like here, like atiq, and the plural awatiq would be for awatiqa, the feminine. It is used for basically the shoulder. Basically, that part of your body that is your shoulder, it's still. It's not much movement in your shoulder. It moves a little bit. It doesn't have much range of motion. Because that's a plural of atiqa.
Okay.
Let's see if there's anything.
So I want to repeat that my question again. So you are saying that all these broken plurals, it is fully flexible.
No, not all of them. Like fawa'ilu, when I see the one tanween here, I know
Yeah, then I know. Yes. So that is mamnu min as-sarf. That's a mabni or what?
no, ممنوع من الصرف. ممنوع من الصرف. The example they gave is rawasi, which is naqis. That's why it's going to be rawasi and rawasiya.
Okay.
But that's because it's naqis.
Okay. What is the difference between? Sorry, remind me. Mamnu min as-sarf and mabni is same or different?
Different. ممنوع من الصرف can mean like Ibrahimu, Ibrahima. No tanween and no kasra.
Okay.
Unless it's not an alam, but it's ma'rifa, be it from alif lam or idafa.
Okay.
Whereas mabni is something that does not experience grammar. Huwa, fi.
Okay. Got it.
As opposed to something muqaddar, which does experience grammar but doesn't show it. Musa, Isa, Yahya.
Got it. Okay.
All right, here we go. وَالْقَوَاعِدُ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ. Right, those who are older and they basically, stay at home. They're basically can't have kids anymore. They're just much older women.
So it is a qa'ida, is the feminine.
قاعدة. Yes.
Okay.
Right. لا يرجون نكاحا. They do not have any desire to get married. فليس عليهن جناح أن يضعن ثيابهن غير متبرجات بزينة. Then they don't need full to the full extent of covering, as long as their clothes are not, flaunting. وَأَن يَسْتَعْفِفْنَ خَيْرٌ لَهُمْ. But again, if they continue to remain chaste and modest, and that is better for them. وَاللَّهُ سَمِيعٌ عَلِيمٌ. And Allah is the most hearing and all-knowing. Right? And like we said, قَوَاعِدُ is the plural of قَاعِدَةٌ. قَاعِدَةٌ. Right? And then also يَجْعَلُونَ أَصَابِعَهُمْ فِي آذَانِهِمْ مِنَ الصَّوَاعِقِ يعني مِنْ صَاعِقَةٍ. Right? Is the plural of صَاعِقَةٍ. And again, sorry, but because I have alif lam here, it becomes fully flexible. And again, these are things that not much movement.
Okay.
Right, حذر الموت, they put their fingers in their ears out of the thunder, because the thunder is so loud they're afraid they're going to die by hearing it. Allah muhitun bil kafirin. Allah is fully aware, has fully surrounded the disbelievers. فعلان.
This pattern is used to express the qillah. In other words, this plural pattern refers to the group that is small in number relative to another. Let us look at a comparative case study. وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِّرُوا بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِمْ لَمْ يَخِرُّوا عَلَيْهَا صُمًّا وَعُمْيَانًا. And those who, when they are reminded of the signs of their master, they do not fall upon them deaf and blind. This ayat speaks about Ibad al-Rahman, which is a group that is small relative to those who are misguided. For this reason, A'ma is pluralized as Umyanun, following the Fu'lan pattern. This is the only time in the Quran that A'ma is pluralized this way. All the other ayat use the plural Umyun. Notice that all of these ayat are in the context of people of misguidance and disbelief. This is a relatively larger group. صم بكم عمي فهم لا يرجعون. ومثل الذين كفروا كمثل الذي ينعق بما لا يسمع إلا دعاء ونداء صم بكم عمي فهم لا يعقلون. ونحشرهم يوم القيامة على وجوههم عميا وبكما وصما مأواهم جهنم كلما خبت زدناهم سعيرا. So all the other ayat, وما أنت بهاد العمي عن ضلالتهم إن تسمع إلا من يؤمن بآياتنا فهم مسلمون أفأنت تسمع الصم أو تهدي العمي ومن كان في ضلال مبين.
So in all of these, right, we're looking at fu'lan. Fu'lan only comes once, right? But it refers to a group that is small in number, relatively small in number. And again, because this is in contrast to a group that is also small in number, Ibadur Rahman is a small group as well. Let's start to point out here.
So it's saying that that is the only time it comes as a plural.
Only
Rumyan.
time, only time a'ma is used in this plural. Let's see if they have any other. I think it'll be easy with the other examples because we don't have the naqis. Right? أتأتون الذكران فعلانا. Right? The fu'lan pattern is used because it was a specific group of men that the people of Lut used to go after. Meaning it's a smaller category of men. Right? As opposed to وقالوا ما في بطون هذه الأنعام خالصة لذكورنا ومحرم على أزواجنا. Why ذكور فعول? You didn't mention this one yet.
What is the difference between fu'ul pattern? So fu'ul is mean for the large group.
Wait, we didn't cover fu'ul yet.
I mean, in the past we did.
We did?
I mean, not necessarily in that context, but we know the pattern for fu'ul.
So so this would be in the example of masdar, sujud. Right, like a true or literal action. Just people who are men. They just happen to be men. And then even for the other ones, right? Umyan.
Where are you seeing it? I didn't see it.
So first for the khalisatan li dhukurina, is from the ala wazn al masdar. Right, like we have masdars that are sound like the sujud. So sujud is not sujud can refer to people or the action. So dhukur can refer to like being a man versus men. True or literal action. So when we compare those two, khalisatul lidhukurina, all we're just saying is they are men. Period. They are men. But atatuna dhukran has the meaning of a few men, small group of men.
Okay.
And then here the this is from the fu'la. This is from the fu'la, which we'll see shortly. Or fu'lun. Probably fu'la. Okay. Okay, let's continue.
Okay, what was that again? Let me open.
فعل وفعل وفعال.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. My window got switched. Okay. فعل وفعل وفعل. This plural pattern is used for deficiency, calamity, or illness. Take a look at the following examples. فإنك لا تسمع الموتى ولا تسمع الصم الدعاء إذا ولوا مدبرين. Or I could also say فإنك لا تسمع الموتى ولا يسمع الصم الدعاء إذا ولوا مدبرين. And certainly you do not make the dead hear, not do you make the blind hear the invitation when they turn away giving you their backs. Al-Mauta is a plural of mayyitun, which means dead person, and it follows this pattern because death is a calamity. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى حتى تعلموا ما تقولون. Oh, you believe, do not approach prayer while you are intoxicated until you understand what you are saying. Sukara is the plural of sukran, which means drunk. If it follows this pattern because drunkenness causes a deficiency in intellect, dignity, and behavior. وآتوا اليتامى أموالهم ولا تتبدلوا الخبيث بالطيب. Give orphans their money, do not exchange the pure for the impure. Yatama is the plural of yatimun, which means orphan. It follows this pattern because losing a parent is considered a calamity.
So typically, whenever we see this pattern of fa'ala, fu'ala, and fa'ala, and even here, if I think umya can fall under. Never mind. Let's skip that. Okay. Continue. Fu'ala'u wa fi'alun.
Both of these patterns are plural patterns for the ism sifa. The difference between them is that the fu'ala'u pattern is used in a metaphorical context, while the The fi'al pattern is used in literal context. وقالوا ربنا إنا أطعنا سادتنا وكبراءنا فأضلونا السبيلا. They said, our masters, certainly we obeyed our masters and noblemen, then they misguided us from the path. Kubara is the plural of kabir. The fu'la pattern is chosen of the fa'al pattern because of the meaning is non-literal. These people are not physically big, rather they are big in status and social rank. وإذ يتحاجون في النار فيقول الضعفاء للذين استكبروا إنا كنا لكم تبعا فهل أنتم مغنون عنا نصيبا من النار. And when they are arguing the fire, then the weak will say to those who are arrogant, we certainly used to be followers for you, so will you protect us from some of the fire. The ضعفاء is the plural of ضعيف. The that pattern is chosen over the fa'al pattern because the meaning is non-literal. These people are not physically weak, rather they are blind followers who are mentally weak. So this one here. انفروا خفافا وثقالا وجاهدوا بأموالكم وأنفسكم في سبيل الله. Go forth light or heavy and strive with your wealth and yourself in the path of Allah. This ayat appears in the context of the battle of Khafaf. The blow of Khafif refers to the people who have no armor and are traveling light. The thiqal refers to wearing armor. This is a physical lightness and heaviness, which is why this is the fu'al pattern is used, right?
No, the fi'al.
Fu'al, yeah, fi'al, yeah. Fu'al is, yeah, of course, it matches. Fi'al pattern. He is the one who shows you lightning causes fear and hope, and he generated heavy clouds. هو الذي يريكم برق خفا وطمع وينشئ السحاب الثقال. Thiqal is the plural of thaqil. The fi'al pattern is chosen over the fu'la pattern because the meaning is literal. Rain clouds are physically heavy.
And so all we're saying here is that fu'ala is metaphorical, fi'al is literal.
Yes. Note that the fu'la pattern becomes the af'ila'u when the word is muda'if or naqis. For example, the plural of shadid will be ashidda'u. The plural qawiyyun will be aqwi'a'u. The fi'al pattern looks the same. Ala wasn't al-masdar. The masdar patterns can sometimes be used as a plural pattern. When this happens, it implies that the people belonging to this group are carrying out the action in its true sense or its literal sense. For example, sujudun is a masdar, a pattern that means bowing down. When a sujud is used as a plural, it means people who make true sajda. An example of this plural pattern being used to denote something literal would be qiyamun. The word qama can mean literally to stand, or it can mean to stand and prayer figuratively. When the literal meaning is intended, the masdar pattern qiyamun is used. When the figurative meaning is intended, the normal plural qa'imun is used. Take a look at the following examples. وطهر بيتي الطائفين والقائمين وركع السجود. And purify my house for those who do tawaf and for those who stand in prayer and for those who bow down and do true prostration. The masdar pattern is used for sujood to express that these people are doing sujood in its true sense, meaning that their prostration is full of humility and khushu'. الذين يذكرون قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض. Those who remember Allah is standing and sittings and on their sides, and those who think deeply about the creation of the skies and the earth. Here's an
Question:
example.
What is the difference between rukka, sujud? Because one is fu'ala pattern and another is a fu'ul pattern.
Yeah, so rukka is those actions that are
visibly seen. Remember we talked about it?
Yeah,
That's the one, right?
visibly seen and they're short.
Short period. Okay.
And here's
sujud.
Sujud is when you do like I said, like you truly do that masdar, you truly do that fi'l, truly doing sajda.
Okay, but my question is, why there's a differentiation on that? I mean, you should be also, it can be a ruku, right? Instead of a rukka.
Yeah, you could also be, you're saying it could also be sujjad or ruk'i sujjadi.
Yeah, but when we have the differentiation on that, specifically defining, different category, that has to be a reason there, right?
Yeah. So like here, what their highlight is للطائفين والقائمين والركع السجود. Basically, the high, maybe these are people that do tawaf, people that stand, people that do ruku', but they're key action, the thing that they do the best is they do sajda. So maybe the difference here is highlighting, kind of all these three things, all these four things together, but sujood is the hallmark, the highlight.
Hallmark. Okay, that's what I was trying to get it.
Maybe that's one thing, but also,
No, overall, I'm amazed by those subtle differences of these pattern. It gives you a very richness of the meaning, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that's alhamdulillah, that's why the Quran stands out.
But the other thing to keep in mind is Allah also knows flow and style, right? So even if you think, all right, why wasn't sujjad used? Just read this whole section here. You're gonna be like, no, don't use sujjad, right? وإذ ابتلى إبراهيم ربه بكلمات فأتمهن قال إني جاعلك للناس إماما قال ومن ذريتي قال لا ينال عهد الظالمين. Before that was ولا هم ينصرون لا ينال عهد الظالمين. And then we continue أن طهر بيتي للطائفين والعاكفين والركع السجد. Like it just everything is just cut from the entire page here is نصير خاسرون عالمين ينصرون ظالمين سجود مصيد. There's if you just do sujjad, the whole thing just comes to a flat stop.
Yeah.
And so you see that when it comes to
it's like keeping that kind of pattern at the end, like having the long vowel.
Yeah, right. And
So
so
like, compared to like Malik min duni waliyan wala nasira, like those that tanween fatha surahs.
whereas now you look at An-Na'a or Nisa has a huge shift. Because everything in Fatiha, Baqarah, and Al Imran, everything is typically you're ending on a sukun. Be it una, ina, you're ending on sukun. But Nisa, there's a huge flip. The entire pattern changes in the whole surah.
Except maybe like 3 verses.
Yeah, but I'm saying the style is different. Kana, there is everything. Most ayahs end in kana, right? Inna Allah kana alaykum raqiba. Kana حوبا كبيرا ذلك أدنى ألا تعولوا, right? هنيئا مريئا قولا معروفا وكفى بالله حسيبا. The whole surah changes in the ending, and so typically sometimes this will also match up into that. And it's very interesting to see those changes, because again you look at no. Same thing with Surah Al-Kahf, right? Surah Al-Isra is also, everything ends in Fathatain or Alif Maqsura. Kahf, everything ends in Fathatain, Alif Maqsura. Surah Maryam, everything ends in Fathatain or Alif Maqsura. Actually, not even that, but Itiyya. Most ayahs end with Shadda and then Alif. And then Surah Taha, everything ends in pretty much Alif Maqsura. And then you go back to
Surah Al-Anbiya, then continue the pattern all the way until then Surah Al-Furqan, and then till Surah Al-Ahzab, and a little bit of Fatir at the end.
And a huge change back, right? معرضون يلعبون تبصرون عليم. So there's these like different categorizations of surahs that you come up with depending on this style. What do I mean by that? Like if we, where can I just get a list of surahs? But if you look here, like Fatiha is Makki, Baqarah is
Madani.
Madani, Al Imran is
Madani.
Madani, Nisa is Madani, Ma'idah is Madani. So you find this other thing where it goes some Makki, all Madani, and then An'am, A'raf, Makki, Anfal, Tawbah, Madani. Right? Yunus, Hud, Yusuf, Ra'ad, Ibrahim, Hijr, Nahl, Isra, Kahf, Maryam, Taha, Anbiya, Makki, and then Hajj, Mu'minun, Nur, Furqan. Is Furqan? At least Hajj, Mu'minun, and Nur. Right, so you keep going back between groups of Makki and groups of Madani. Groups of
Mu'minun is Makki. Mu'minun is Makki, and then Nur is Madani.
Yeah, so I'm saying you keep switching back and forth between these groups, right?
So that usually Makki surahs are more rhyming, correct?
They just have a different style. Just have like
Makki is more so like talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's like attributes versus Madani is like always is like Surah Al-Ma'idah, for instance, talks about the laws and regulations, right? Talks about how to deal with the Yahud and Nasara and like alcohol being prohibited,
yeah,
this and that, and of course the ending of Isa alayhi salam.
yeah.
Whoever
Biggest hint in Madani is there will be mention of jihad. In Makki, there's pretty much no mention of jihad. This aqimu salah wa atu zakah. Right, but if there's jihad, then it's Madani. But then you have that grouping of Makki versus Madani in order, and then you also have this other style that doesn't overlap in that, right? Because then we just saw Nisa was the change after the first three were the same, and then you keep having. Basically, if you want to order Quran from Fatiha to Nas, you can look at it in terms of Makki Madani switch, Una to Qariba switch. So there's all these like hidden orderings and groupings for us to just find and discover. So really, subhanAllah, when you think about how infinitely endless the divine knowledge is that there is in the Quran is just it's literally will never be able to grasp.
Okay. But I also think that this particular lesson, you need a little bit more time to understand it, all these patterns.
Yeah.
And then the implications of it.
Yeah, I think it would have been better if they gave just more detail and more comparisons.
Is this our last lesson in this book?
This is the last chapter in this
MashaAllah. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I was just turning the pages, then there's all summaries coming.
Yeah.
Wow.
When do we get to the next level? How do we level up our game here?
I mean, yeah, once we do Balagha, you'll have covered every major topic in Nahw and Sarf.
Yeah.
The only thing after that is just practice reading without vowels.
Yeah, but I need a lot of vocab and stuff, and just to make sure I can go in like straight shot,
Yeah, but no, you don't ever do that in any language.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone you have a dictionary, no matter how much you know.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're a native speaker, like if you're Desi born, like in Saudi, like Sheikh Naveed Iqbal from Garden Grove, I'm sure been here since like 2000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fluent Arabic speaker.
Yeah.
Or even one brother, Taimur Mirza. I'm sure you also know him as well.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Taimur speaks Arabic?
Oh yeah, Taimur speaks Arabic very well.
Hmm.
Even Sheikh Hashim knows it very well too. He even knows how to speak Urdu very well. For an old white man to know Urdu and Arabic that well, it's just phenomenal.
No, but he's also been speaking Arabic and Urdu for like 40 years.
Yeah, I know. He has like a very interesting backstory. He was in the music industry in America. He traveled all over North Africa till he made his way into Yemen. This was before all that conflict. So like the 1960s and 70s.
Yeah. Yeah, let's just quickly go over some of these patterns. And there's only two of
Okay.
us here. There's only two of us, so we might just do a review of this next week and then do the drills next time. If you don't mind my
Sister Salima aunty is not coming to the class or what?
She should be. I think she's still in Bangladesh. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Right. So we have these are some additional patterns that give meaning of number.
Okay.
Right. So here see, it would be better if they give the comparison. But for example, al-hajju ashhurum ma'lumat. Right? As opposed to ashhur.
Fix the months.
Yeah, but I'm thinking what are
you thinking?
Does ashhur come? No, is the ma'lumat? Ashhur.
Are you looking where the shouldn't come in where other places?
Yeah.
Yeah, in either the shuhur for all pattern.
Yeah, there we in عدة الشهور. So here we see exactly this comparison. Because ashhur is the af'ul pattern, which is qilla, 3 to 10. Because how many months are we talking about here? Al-hajju ashhur ma'lumat, how many months?
1. Oh, it can't be 1 because the pattern.
Basically 2 months, 10 days.
2 months, yeah.
Right? Or 2 months, 15 days, right? Because we're Shawwal, Dhul Qa'ida, and the first 13 days of Dhul Hijjah.
But the thing is, it has to be 3 minimum, right?
So this is one of those things that makes the exception to the rule. This is the one exception to that rule. But basically, you say it starts into the 3rd month.
Because there's a case of you say Shahrani, right?
As opposed to inna iddat ash-shuhuri. This is not the qilla, because qilla typically 3 to 10. This is how many months are there according to Allah? 12. So now we use the different pattern. This is shuhur, like we have shuhud, fu'ul, large group, large number.
Okay.
Right? We also have af'al ayyam. Is that the point we want to make? No. Right, then we have أعمالا. Right? قل هل ننبئكم بالأخسرين أعمالا. Small, we say أخسرين. These are people who have ruined their, who are the worst in actions or the most ruined in actions, right? But they don't have many actions. وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُمْ سَمْعًا وَأَبْصَارًا وَأَفْئِدَةً. Right? We have given a small, again, typically just a small amount. إِنَّهُمْ فِتْيَةٌ آمَنُوا. It's a small group that believed in Allah. Right? Referring to the people of.
But how would they categorize that small group? It's just 3 to 10.
Typically, yeah. What do you mean?
I mean, it comes under the category Awzan al-Qilla, which is like a 3 to 10, right? Now, you're putting all these patterns like a fi'ala, af'ila, af'al. So those are the pattern like a small group, but a small group is limited to 10.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, how do we know it is limited to 10? وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُمْ سَمْعًا وَأَبْصَارًا وَأَفْئِدَةً, right?
Yeah. So for the middle two, I don't know. For the middle two, I don't know how it plays out. But for the first and last is very clear. First and last is very clear.
Okay.
And then as opposed to, these are just large groups, sometimes very specific or sometimes general. Like here, fitya in ashhur is very specific. We can point to it and count the months. We can point to fitya and count how many, either 5 or 6 or 7, right? Depending on what was that Surah Al-Kahf or Rajman bil Ghaib, right? And then we have now kathra, summun bukmun umyun, large numbers. right? فقد كذبت رسل من قبلك, a large number of messengers. وفي الأرض قطع متجاورات, a large number of different ecosystems, land terrains. وهم على ما يفعلون بالمؤمنين شهود. So many of them were watching what is happening to the massacre and the genocide of believers. Right, I highly recommend, Surah Al-Buruj is one of those surahs that, especially with what we're seeing right now, it just gives you flashbacks back and forth, إن تجتنبوا كبائر ما تنهون عنه.
What do you mean back and forth?
Like you can basically place Surah Al-Buruj on top of what's going on right now in Gaza.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, إن تجتنبوا كبائر ما تنهون عنه, right? Many major sins. ويطوف عليهم غلمان لهم, many servants.
Is Israeli forces is stepping into Gaza right now?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I would imagine they would. They already have. They've killed so many people now that they just don't have any shame. They're worse than dogs. They're worse than pigs. Even pigs don't do that.
Yeah. Ya Allah. Because
Our
nobody's
Muslim
can do
governments,
anything.
Muslim governments, especially Pakistan's military, who's pretends to be the nuclear power source of the Ummah right now.
Are you Pakistani?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I mean, it was really created by the British.
Okay. So we went to all this pattern, right?
Mhm.
Okay. But I really think that we need, at least we have to revise this, otherwise we're not able to get it.
Yeah, definitely.
It is a lot of information there.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the next? Because we finished this book, right?
Yeah, so let's, for homework, I'll have you do just question 6. And is this a part of 7? Whatever. Let's just call this number 8. And do number 8.
Okay, so that is number 8. Read and summarize.
Yeah. And just review these summaries. So next time, because we're probably gonna just reread some of the chapter and do an overview next time, again, just because there's only 2 of us here. So next time we'll probably do a quick summary of the chapter, read the Quran gem. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. You can all review it.
Okay.
Same thing with this chart, and then we'll go over drill point from question number 6 and question number 8.
Okay, when are we going to start the Balagha?
Assuming we finish this book next week, which we probably will.
Okay.
If you want, we can do a review of the remaining sections. Well, it's just 3 pages that are review. So probably just
Are you going to give us a Balagha book?
Yeah, let me see if we have the copies. And then if we all want to, if we can all come in person next week, then I can give them, or whatever we come. Let me just confirm that. But we should be able to. I think we already have it.
We can go over reviews. Sorry, go ahead.
I've been wanting to ask you this one. Sorry, I've been wanting to ask you this. Is there not necessarily a handbook, like a summary of all the rules in a couple of pages where we can able to revise in a very short time? Because I feel like I have forgotten some of the things, right?
This ending, kind of. You have your things that are مرفوع. فاعل, نائب الفاعل, مبتدا, خبر, اسم كان.
Yeah, like that. Okay.
And then whatever the tabi' is, if it's following. And the same thing with the mansubat. مفعول به, مفعول لأجله, all of those, the ظرف and the hal, تمييز, منادى, خبر كان, etc. So very quick, brief summary here. And I think at the end of every book, there's like a 3 to 5 page summary of the whole book.
I see. I can take a look at that.
Yeah.
But particularly I'm still struggling. For example, you are not that sometimes you describe the whole sentence can be a not, right? One time you were saying that, and I never know. I mean, we learned it, but I completely forgot it.
Mm.
So when I was reviewing it, I was looking, where is the Nath Man'ut? Then I couldn't be able to figure that out,
Mm.
right? So that kind of, because I forgot the rules. So similarly, you have a lot of subtle rules like that, right?
I think what we can do is in all, because as we even move to the next book, we're always going to have Quranic examples.
Okay.
So we'll see these things come up, and we'll always
Okay.
reference back. We'll just reference back. And if we want
Okay.
to do a full review of a chapter, whatever we want, I'm very.
Okay. Is the Balagha is our last book?
It's the last book in this series. Yes.
Wow.
I'm thinking after that, let's just start from Fatiha, and we'll just translate the whole Quran ourselves.
That's going to be a lifetime study.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's the end goal, right? We want to understand Quran. We'll take brief tafsir to help us explain some of the difficult words, but let's get a surface level reading with translation of Quran.
When is this semester ends?
I think December 2nd.
Okay. So we're going to start the Balagha on the next semester, or?
It will start next week or in 2 weeks.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so we have class next week on the 18th. No class on the 25th. Last class of the first trimester is 25th.
Hold on. So no class on 18th and 25th?
No. 18th we have class.
Okay.
25th is off.
Okay.
2nd is then the last day of this trimester.
Good. Okay.
And we just start again on the 9th.
Oh, wow. Immediately, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, but the days off is 30th. Okay, anyway, you put it here. Okay.
Yeah, everything's here. So we'll get the November 25th off, and then we'll continue until we'll get December 30th off. And then January 13th and February 17th.
Okay.
All right, any other questions for today?
I think we are good. Sheikh, I want you to save a date, December the 8th. For me, I would like to invite you because my daughter, inshallah, she's finishing the memorization. So we are holding a Khatam al-Quran at IOK. And I shall send you a formal invite, okay?
You said that's December 8th?
December 8th, yes.
Okay, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Alrighty. I'll update our Google Doc, but let's just end a little bit earlier today. Subhanallah bihamdihi, subhanallah azim, subhanaka wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Sallallahu ta'ala ala khayri khalqihi Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Man tabi'ahum bi ihsan ila yawmiddin. Allahu ja'alna minhum. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
One question real quick.
Yeah.
If you're in a hurry. So will we agree to do the next class is just a review, right?
Yeah, just review chapter 54 and then do questions 6 and 8 from the drill.
Yeah. Questions 6 and 8 from the drill, right? Okay. And then we can probably, and then on our own time, we can just review previous content, just and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long does it take to actually start actually getting really, really fluent?
However much time you put in.
Yeah. Inshallah, my intention is to somewhat get fluent. I mean, like when I started memorizing the Quran, it was probably like 2008, 2009, around that time, and then until I became Hafal and started leading was like 2015-ish. It was like about 7 years.
Yeah.
How many years have been studying Arabic now?
Me?
I know, like for us total, like since 2019, right? So this is our 5th year.
This is year 4. We're in 104, right? Or no, we're in 105. Yeah. So you started your 5th year.
Okay, so by the time it's our 7th or 8th year, inshallah, we should be good if we put in the effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal, inshallah.
I want to ask one question. Umar, you're always trying to read the other riwayat, right? And
Yes.
some of the words are changing. Like For
Mhm.
example, you say wala tusmi'u summa, you say wala yasma'u summa, something like that.
Yeah, that's Ibn
Is there,
Kathir.
hold on, let me ask you a question. Is there
Yeah.
any guideline how you change it?
Yes, there's a Quran where you can find. There's Quran like with there's a King Fahad printing press has different
I
narrations.
know you said that, but my question is it
Yes.
the guideline is how do you know is the meaning will change?
Yes, the meaning does change.
So people memorize it, that the Quran, or is it they're memorizing through that guideline?
They memorize they actually go to the entire Quran.
So the whole qira'ah is already documented.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it's not like, oh, if I want this time I read it this way, that time the whole so these 10/20 qira'at are basically the that tabi'i is the one who taught and recited it like that. So we have the entire Quran the way they recited it documented.
Mm.
So if someone reads from another one, that those changes are already there,
Mm.
right? So you can't. So sometimes the change will only be in one place or another. For example, in Hafs and Asim, when we do imala, Bismillahi majriha, right? But that is already documented in that one place. So someone reading Hafs and not like, oh, I'm gonna do
طيه like طيه ما أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتشقي إلا تذكرة لمن يخشى. That's
So all of these changes are already documented and set. So that's one aspect. And then typically all of these rules break down into like a handful of parameters. Be it, are you changing it from second person to third person? That's very common, right? Are
Okay,
you?
that's the one I'm struggling to understand this. Okay, the sound changes like wadduhi or sajay. Okay, that I understood
Yeah.
because you have a different way of pronouncing it, right?
Mhm.
But now in the context of we are reading the grammar, right? When you change, wala tusmi'u summa to wala yasma'u summa, something like that, right?
Mhm.
So will that meaning will change, right?
But
Because
even then, in those places, meaning changes in a very limited scope. What do I mean by that? Meaning, if I were to say, for example, many times when Allah addresses Banu Israel, Allah He says, "Antum." He's talking to the Muslims, and then sometimes you'll immediately change right back to whom, right? Like in Surah Baqarah, when the first Banu Israel are first addressed, all of a sudden Allah will switch back and forth between Antum and whom, Antum and whom. Sometimes it's rhetorical, meaning I'm talking to you, Yahud. By the way, now Muslims, I'm talking to you, but I'm talking about them. And so sometimes the difference between hum and antum is just the switch for you to think and for you to realize. And so sometimes it can go both ways. And same thing for the tusmi'u summa versus yasma'u sum. It's either, O Prophet, you cannot make somebody dead in their grave hear, versus the people dead in their grave cannot hear. So basically the end result is, for all purposes, the same.
Yeah, and there's also another one, also nun shiruha. There's also a verb form can change, like tadhaharun. That can also change. And yeah, an entire word can also change, like يقص الحق وهو خير الفاصلين can be is read in many narrations. يقضي الحق وهو خير الفاصلين.
Yeah, so there's typically it boils down to like 7 different kinds of changes. 7 different kinds of changes.
So there is a separate signs that where it change and how it change.
It's, yeah, I can share my screen. I could show you if that's okay.
Yeah, but those end up being retroactive, meaning those changes are already known, and now we're documenting the types of changes that happened.
So let's say if I read a particular passage, like how he said, يَقُصُّ الْحَقَّ وَهُوَ خَيْرُ الْفَاصِلِينَ, and that's the one, Surah Al-An'am, that we know normally. If from the other Quran or the other Riwayah, if I learn something, is it okay for me to recite that way instead of my normal recitation?
What the 99% of fuqaha say is no, don't do that, because
that's what I was asking.
This is the Yeah, don't do that, because this is
So,
the
for example, sometimes I listen to Khalaf and Hamza.
Hmm.
Okay,
Mhm.
so like Surah Al-Najm, I heard, say Sheikh Mishari or other people. So
Abu
can
Taymiyyah,
I
right?
read the Khalaf and Hamza the same style, even without knowing um, the science behind it, how they're doing it, just by listening of the style? Then can I, read that?
So kind of like you yourself said, there are two different things. There's the style of, like for example, you have the saktas in Khalaf and Hamza. In
Yeah,
antum.
yeah. I don't know what
وعليهم.
they're doing, what they're doing,
Yeah, so
but I'm
the
learning. Since because I listen 4 or 5 times, then I can able to replicate the same style what they're doing.
In the namaz, yeah, it's fine. But this still makes helps with the Khalaf and Hamza.
yeah,
That,
Okay.
so but you're not going to be reciting Fatiha in that way. So just stick to one, because you don't want to switch back and forth.
yeah.
Because this is the entire Quran. That way is one riwayah, is one narration,
Mm,
right? So you don't want to flip.
mm,
Yeah, for instance, this one. وإذا جاءك الذين يؤمنون بآياتنا فقل سلام عليكم كتب ربكم على نفسه الرحمة. This becomes إنه من عمل منكم سوءا بجهالة ثم تاب بعد وأصلح فإنه غفور رحيم. And for instance, قد ضللت إذا or قل إني على بينة من ربي وكذب ما عندي ما تستعجلون به الحكم لله. Right here you see it. يقضي الحق وهو خير الفاصلين. This is
so that's
Muhammad.
this is what I'm saying is a big difference, right? Because يقص الحق comparing with the يقضي الحق, isn't it the meaning will change?
So,
Aqas and
Yes.
qada is different.
so yeah, so there's two things here. Number one, yeah, will the meaning change? Yes. But firstly, the amount of times, just interesting to note, the amount of times where root letters change in the Quran, in all the 20 qira'at or the 20 riwayas, some scholars of ulum al-Quran say that only happens like 10 times across all of them. Only 10 times will there be a root letter change. So that's very minimal. And then also, but again, the point is still really just the same. He is telling you, narrating the truth to you, as opposed to he's judging by the truth. Right? So in that sense, the end result is,
But okay, I understand.
yeah.
But is the Prophet read these both narrations, these both ways?
All of
يقضي
them he
الحق
read.
يقص الحق.
Yeah, there's a little bit of disagreement, but for the most scholars will say, yeah, this has come from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or if not explicitly, then from the tabi'i, or sorry, from the Sahabi.
But then, if we go by the explanation, then things will completely flip our narration, right? Because لا يأتيه الباطل من بين يديه ولا من خلفه, right? Nobody can able to change anything in
Yeah.
the Quran before and after. But then how can a tabi can able to change it?
Sorry.
Let me show you at the very end. There's at the very end to answer that question. I have some things here. So like it shows the isnad, right? كتب المصحف الكريم and then this أبو شعيب صالح بن زيد بن عبد الله بن إسماعيل السوسي متوفى سنة 61 و200 بالهجرة عن أبي محمد يحيى المبارك بن المغيرة اليزيدي المتوفى سنة 200 عن إمام البصري مقرئ عن الإمام أبو عامر بن أعلى عم بن عمار التيمي والمزاني البصري. You can see this here 500.
Understand. So just come that the Rasulullah's name is coming, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the isnad right here. So King Fahad makes sure that publishes the isnad. So how many Sahabas did Abu Amr bin Ala read to? He read to Uthman radiallahu an, right? He read to Hazrat Usman, or as they say in Urdu. And then he said to Sa'id bin Khubayr, وهما قراء
Not
عبد الله
Khubayr,
بن
Zubair. Oh, Khubayr.
Jubayr.
Sorry,
Zubayr, yeah.
Jubayr. Sorry, my glasses, I need that. Sa'id bin Jubayr. وهما قرأ عن عبد الله بن عباس وقرأ عبد الله عن أبي بن كعب وزيد بن ثابت أبي بن كعب وعثمان وعلي وزيد بن ثابت. And they got this from the radiallahu anhum from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's how the isnad is formed for this riwayah in particular. For if it was a Duri and Ibn Amr, then it would say the person Hafs or
No,
Umar
but that riwayah is for the entire Quran. I mean, all this riwayah.
So the entire the when you get to the tabi'un, they read the entire thing like that.
Yeah.
They read
And
the entire thing like that.
and this is for Ad-Duri, which is the other riwayah from Abu Amr. This was a Susi Duri. By the way, the Hanafi scholars used to read with this riwayah, would read with this way, this clear Abu Amr bin Ala. That's correct, right, Sheikh Mudassir?
I'm not sure, but I don't know.
Abu Amr bin Ala was the narration at the time of the Hanafis. The Malikis read with they always read Nafi' since beginning. So here's the same thing as well too. This is Ad-Duri and Abi Amr. You can listen to recitations from Sheikh Abdullah Juhani reading this one. So yeah, the same people here, the same tabi'.
Okay, I mean, it's good to know. I mean, my intention is not to drag it, but
Yeah.
sometimes, I notice that you always try to come up with the different version of
Yeah.
it, which is good.
Yeah.
But it's a science behind it. Something if you do not know, then we end up in making mistakes, right?
Yeah. I mean, of course you have to know it, and you probably have to memorize it and practice reading it, you know.
Yeah,
Because
but
normally
I don't know
people
them
will
all.
memorize. Normally people will memorize it, or they will memorize. I mean, they will learn the science why it changed like that.
Sometimes both.
Yeah, most Hafaz al-Qur'an, they don't know, like very few of them go into the grammar and the reasons where and how. But what they do is they basically learn all the dawabit about what changes happen in this qira'ah. Right, so you learn the overview about this is the standard that will change across, and then these are the exceptions. Right, so if someone starts off with Hafs and Asim, right, then you learn, all right, now this other riwayah, they do this type of imala or this type of imala or both. And they will drop the hamzas in these cases. So you learn the rules that will apply in 90% of the time. And then you'll learn, like, by the way, it's not yaqdi al-haq, it's yaqussu al-haq. You'll learn those two different. So there's two. You learn the broad rules across, and then you learn the specific. So if someone's then learning khalaf and hamza, you say, okay, by the way, you recite from the last ayah of the previous surah. That's rule number one. Rule number two, whenever you have a sukun followed by hamza, then you do a sakta, then you stop there. You do
That's not always the case though, but like with the Bismillah, you can do that, or you could also say stop and do Bismillah. Or with the sakt, you can also do like wafil ardi, like how Warsh does it.
Yeah, so I'm saying you'll learn the broad rules, and then you learn the specific words that do happen to change, and then again when so that's still the theory. But then when students they do learn and memorize, then you're reading the entire Quran to the teacher.
Okay.
In that qira'ah.
Because someone told me that because normally we read, majority of people read like a Shatibiyah, right? And from there to Shu'bah is a very little change, right?
From Hafs to Shu'bah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So if you know one thing, then you will see that the difference on the other. So people will learn what are those differences, because they're saying that it is only like 3% a difference between this to that version.
Yeah.
And then once you learn that, then people go the other one. That's how they pick up the differences, because people like me and do not know the sciences. We just rely on the memorization, right?
Yeah. But I was,
why it changed, we do not know. But where it changed is what we know.
But that's when I'm leading with a different narration. Somebody asks me why I read this way, or they claim that I read it wrong. I always show the Quran. Like one other brother at ICOI reads Warsh and Nafi'. So a couple of brothers asked him why did he pronounce this word differently. So I later went up to him and showed him an app, this particular app for Warsh. So in case if somebody tries to pick up a fight with him, he has the Quran to show that he didn't invent the Quran and he didn't make up a fake Quran. Now,
Do you lead the prayer? I see why.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes even at Rahma Center, yeah.
Oh, okay. I never see you there.
Yeah, I usually lead on and off in between the two,
Where do you go mostly? Justin?
No, Tustin was just for Ramadan because that was the only place that was doing 20 rakat that would offer somebody like me to lead.
No, what do you mean? 20 rakat? What?
No, because they were doing 20 rakats there because the Rahma Center and ICY they were only doing 8 rakats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
But yeah,
Okay,
but Tustin's a whole different crowd. Like, I mean, you can read Qira'ah there, but the thing is you have to read really fast. You have to read something which is fast.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they want 27th night complete. They always get mad if you read a little slow.
Understood. Okay, that's good.
But yeah, for Sheikh, to your point, don't mix and match.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
that.
sometimes it happens, especially if you're just listening, and it shouldn't be done intentionally, right? You're not.
No, out of the over curiosity, one time, I listened to Surah An-Najm. It's so beautiful to listen. The
Yeah,
Khalaf and Hamza. I really enjoyed it.
yeah.
So I practiced like 10 times. Then one time, when I was leading the prayer at Civic, I told them, I'm going to do a different qira'ah than I did. Then I realized that I shouldn't be doing it because I don't know the science. I just did it just because, but alhamdulillah, I didn't make a mistake on that. But again, of course, there are some subtle differences that you always see between the original reciter and myself. So,
Yeah.
inshallah. Okay.
Did anyone
Jazakallah
start
khair.
correcting you from behind?
Hmm?
Did anyone start giving you a correction from behind, or how to say lukma?
No, I already told them that I'm making a different qira'ah.
Yeah,
I informed them earlier.
yeah.
So,
Sheikh
okay.
Abu Taymiyyah from England does that too. Like he says that I'm going to be reciting in the riwayah Khalaf and Hamza, so bear that in mind. Don't worry, your salat is valid.
Yeah, I think it's better to say that because
Mhm.
we're not expert doing that. I'm just doing a little bit of a difference from how we read it.
Yeah. I
Okay.
wonder, yeah, I was told in Tustin not to do it during Tarawih because they supposedly said it's better to do a Hafs Khatam first. And I'm like, it's the Quran is all the same, bro.
But you're doing the riwayah. You're doing
Yeah.
one riwayah.
Yeah. I'm not mixing the, if I was to read it in Tarawih, and I still could, but like the thing is, you have to, I mean, like you cannot mix with Hafs and like, let's say if I want to read Susi or Abduli and I can't mix and match. Like in my sections, if I would read like 6 rak'ahs or something, then I would read that same riwayah throughout the 6 rak'ahs.
You are one few person I came to know that, mashallah, you are learning all these different
Yeah,
riwayah.
I kind of got into it because like, like
I don't
after,
see much people, doing that.
yeah, I mean, after I heard like a couple of sheikhs read it nicely, so I was like, this is actually something good because otherwise prior to COVID, I never had really that much of an interest in doing it. Like when I first heard Warsh, I was like, yeah, whatever. I thought that's just only for Moroccans and Algerians to do. But then I'm like, no, actually, this is from when I look at the chain, I was like, wait, this is actually a Madani qira'ah. Like how is it possible that now they're reading Hafs there, and why aren't they reading the qira'ah people of Medina in Masjid al-Nabawi or like in Mecca and Masjid al-Haram? Like how come they're not reading Ibn Kathir Makki is reading? Why are they reading
Okay.
Hafs and Asim? That makes no sense to me. And I was like, how do people not know this? People have forgotten the Quran.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Anyway, jazakallah khair. I gotta go. Okay, thank you, Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum.
Nice one, Jazakallah.
Jazakallah khair.